Welcome, Tanya. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Well, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I guess pronouns she, her. I'm a mom of a 14-year-old daughter, 14 going on 21, happened overnight, lots of changes right away. I'm actually calling in from Saskatchewan. So that's where I make my home now. I've lived almost everywhere across Canada and in Spain and Miami. So it's interesting. I'm getting the prairies in, Treaty 6 territory. And I guess I always find it interesting. I identify as a humanist, which is really just about being there to support people and looking to build an infrastructure in a society that's just. And I think that's a big theme in my life and my business. And obviously, I'm here because I'm an entrepreneur, always have been. It's in my heart. I started my first business when I was 18 and really never looked back. So.
That's fantastic. And how did you decide to pursue your business, or why did you decide to pursue it?
Well, I think, my first business again, 18 is when I started, and it's always been in my DNA. The business that I currently run, so
Mhm.
founder and CEO of Nail the Numbers Inc. The reason for it, and I think which is similar, especially for a lot of women-run businesses, is our pain is our purpose. And so, why I started it is because in 2008, I guess 2009 to be exact, my previous business actually went bankrupt.
Mm.
And it wasn't because of lack of sales. We were like almost 3.5 million in annual revenue. We had a huge team. We had expanded across Western Canada. So I just never really was able to figure out why it didn't work. But obviously in 2008, with the economic downturn, there was nowhere left to hide. And the numbers told the story, and I closed up shop and was forced to close up shop. And it was after that it was probably about, to be honest with you, about 18 to 24 months after it closed that I had the courage to go back and look at the numbers and actually try to figure out what the heck went wrong. And that's when I realized that my revenue model was broken. It was broken from day one. Nobody caught it. And I thought, okay, well, let's go support business owners and making sure they don't do the same thing that I did, make the same mistakes I did. And so I became a lender. And then as I got the opportunity to look at people's business plans and cash flow statements and actually their credit reports, that's when I realized I wasn't alone, that this was a silent epidemic. Really, the major cause of most businesses' failures. And so made it my mission to get out there and support business owners through better understanding their numbers and making sure their financial models made sense.
Yeah, very important,
Yeah.
extremely important. And what's a piece of advice that you could offer others who would like to follow in your steps?
Uh, well, I mean, what I'm going to say here, it's our
Mhm.
mantra at Nail the Numbers. It's our creed. So anybody who joins our organization, the creed is see, know, do differently. So breaking that down, anytime something isn't working in your life and it's just not where you want it to be,
Mhm.
you have to discipline yourself to actually sit in the what do you want then. If you need more money, how much money do you need? If you need more time, how much time do you need? If you're not getting enough appreciation, how much appreciation do you need? So that's the C. The no is in actually building out a framework that would show you how you're going to get there. And the psychology behind that is that you now have a sense of belief that that's achievable, right?
Mhm.
Oh, here's how I would get this many hours. So the no is build your framework and also understand your motivation for doing the work that you're about to do. And
Mhm.
then do is the discipline to do the uncomfortable work. We have this notion that being an entrepreneur is hard work. And the advice that I have to share here is that if we were to take 20 to 25 minutes every single morning and just do the uncomfortable work, the work that we've been procrastinating on. We all know what it is. We usually don't talk about it. We bury it deep in our drawer and our
Yes.
mindset. If we
Mhm.
just did that, our entire trajectory would change. Our life would change within the scope of a couple of weeks, definitely within 3 months. You'd be a very different business owner in a very different place. So
Mm,
see no to you. That's my advice.
that's very powerful. So how would you like to see your business grow?
Well, by the numbers, quite honestly, it would be, we've currently supported over 10,000 founders since we launched in 2014. We'd like to support 50,000 across North America and 17 major markets over the next 3 years. But I think more importantly, if I could, it's about growing in tandem with how our founders grow.
Mm,
So, what's really core to the work that we do is that um, we're really looking to strengthen the minds and bottom lines of founders, because we're in a society where there's a label on us as being small business owners, and then there's a stigma to profiting. So we believe that founders really are the builders of the new, we call it the new economy. And it's an economy where founders take ownership of actually intentionally building up their bottom line so that they can have impact, so that they're financially secure, their team's secure, their people secure, and then they've got impact in society.
mm,
That's really, when we think about growth, we think about changing the entrepreneurial ecosystem. It's a big mission, but it's part of our motive. When we talk about know why we're doing what we're doing, that's why we're doing it. Because we're in a society where I feel like we're always addressing the symptom, the effect, and we're not really addressing the cause of why we get ourselves into financial trouble, right? So founders are they're so powerful. They're so powerful that we're really excited to help these founders leverage that power, better see it, understand it, and leverage it to make the world a better place.
mhm.
As cliche as that may sound.
And what have the barriers been in your entrepreneurship and your entrepreneurial journey, so to speak?
Well, I think, I certainly have personal barriers, right?
Mm,
Everybody does. I like to say that entrepreneurship is more a journey of personal discovery
mhm,
than it is business development. This is why I just have such reverence for founders, because they're willing to consistently confront who they are and become the best version of themselves. So
mhm,
for me, honestly, my greatest opportunities for growth is in connection, is actually in building connection with others. That's where I grew up an only child with a single mom, and very much always felt like I needed to armor up and find a way to get through everything on my own, to do it on my own. I've
mhm,
chosen a life path where that has tend to repeat itself as a pattern. So greatest opportunity for me, connection and trust. Yeah, I think from a founder's perspective, in terms of business, one of the greatest challenges in growing the business is getting founders to see the importance of their numbers and actually dive in, to have the courage to work on themselves, because numbers are just a reflection of our value. And so that's been the greatest opportunity in the work that we're doing with founders is, yes, it's not about setting up the books. It's about seeing your numbers, owning your value, and then your numbers start to reflect the value that you start to encompass, right, and take ownership of.
mhm. Is there a message you'd like to share with other women entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think if anything, it is it's this, it's you're anything but small. You are anything but small, right? We are so powerful, um, both
Mhm,
independently and collectively, but we really need to find the courage to own that, to see it, to own it. And I loved, you asked me some really important questions in another call, and I think if everybody can ask themselves those questions, like what are you most proud of, and really start taking ownership of that, instead of always looking at the gaps and where the weaknesses are, look at your strengths and look at what you've accomplished, and that's what starts the ball rolling.
which actually brings me to another question. What is an achievement you're very proud of?
I it, well, can I say my daughter? My daughter isn't really an
Yeah.
achievement, but I I'm really proud of her, and I'm really, quite honestly, I'm really proud of the way that it was a lot of growing, but in 2017, my partner and I separated. And
Mm,
so I'm proud of my ability to hold true to my values of integrity and kindness and respect, as angry as I was, so that my daughter had something that could anchor her and find a way through that storm. I wasn't perfect. I definitely had my days, but I think at least 80% of the time I held true to that. And I think also the business, right? Actually taking that pain point and a bankruptcy, and instead of hiding from it and sweeping it under the carpet, really bringing it out to the forefront so that others can learn from that and having the courage to do it.
mhm. And, what made you sign up with the Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce?
Well, I think it goes back to my greatest opportunity for growth,
Mhm.
which was about connecting and belonging. And when I was looking at the different membership organizations out there, what I really appreciated about this organization, your organization, is the fact that there was a community, and the community wasn't hidden behind a curtain. Everybody was connected. Everybody was talking. Everybody was speaking with one another. And again, to my point of really building a just and equitable society, I love what you're doing, because it's right in line with where my values are. So
Mm,
those were the two key factors in signing up.
beautiful. And what do you have upcoming? Do you have anything upcoming that you want to talk about?
Well, we do with the Canadian Women's Chambers of Commerce. We have a boot camp coming up, which is the Bermuda Triangle, right? Budgets, bottom lines, and Bermuda Triangles. I love that because it's where most business owners, women included, we lose all of that profitability. So I'm really excited to do that one. And then we have two challenges in September. One is called the Wake Up Call, and the other is the Mind Shift Method.
I love those. I love those titles. They're fantastic. So, can you tell us again your expertise and where to reach out to find you, how to connect with you?
Sure. So I say my wheelhouse is entrepreneurship and finances, right?
Mhm.
It's basically the mechanics of money. If you're looking to better understand how your numbers are adding up, definitely my wheelhouse. Money mindset, so behavioral finance. I've been studying that now for the last 9 years.
Mhm.
And then motivation. I am always, it's the tough love, but it's that we have to force ourselves to do the uncomfortable work. And so we always come back to that see, no, do. So those three areas, the money mechanics, the mindset, and the motivation, all pertaining to money. People can find me. I'm your go to.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for the opportunity to share my story and a little bit of background today.
It's our pleasure.